This is a world built on humanity's pitfalls and ingenuity. The lands below clouds are forever ravaged by wrathful storms of its people's own making, so they built their way above it using technology long lost and the broken bones of past empires. They survived off the back of the past and then left it to rest. Their lives now revolve around their machines and their floating metallic cities, led by the faithful and mysterious pilot corps that float them through the skies. Sustained by steam power and endless effort, trouble stirs on the city of Brass. Cole has lived on Brass his whole life and has grown accustomed to its quirk. Due to some oddity in their minds or some bug in their system, each group of pilot corps has developed a different telltale. Some are needlessly complex, like the city of Warrens, a hopeless maze of shifting chambers and tunnels to anyone but its inhabitants. Or more on the simple side, such as our city of Brass, which is virtually all made of the aforementioned metal. Still, Cole and his peers feel comfortable in the warm golds and browns of their home above the clouds. Cole is about 14 years of age, and he comes from a long line of engineers. Like most people his age, he attends school in Brass's educational district, which has recently assigned robotics projects to her students. We find our protagonist double-checking his work in the yard some minutes before they're set to start. Cole examines the compact sphere of brass weights and steam pipes, tightening bolts and double-checking its systems, all of which appear green. A voice sounds out from beside him. "Are you ready?" "Enough," Cole responds. Lila is one of Cole's oldest friends, but they are a bit of an odd duo. Where Cole is reserved and direct, Lila is open and talkative. While Lila spends a lot of time exploring every inch of Brass, Cole spends just as much time tinkering in the workshops. So understandably, one of them is having a much better time in this project than the other. "I'm gonna fail, look at my project." "No you're not, you're gonna be fine." Cole looks up from his own project to examine Lila's. A mess of pipes, wires, and frames prop the top two treads. "Hopefully." "No, you're probably screwed," chips in a third voice belonging to another friend, Crassus. Although at first Crassus may seem a bit abrasive, he hides a learned mind and a quick smile. But his last comment was met by a downtrodden groan from Lila. A booming call rings out across the yard from their teacher, a portly man wearing a grease-stained leather apron. "Well, no time to fix it now." As the class starts to come back together in front of their teacher and the track behind him, the idle chatter starts to die down as they get their first real look at the track itself. A short run-up, a ramp, and a gap that needs to be crossed. "Alright everybody, let's line up and start presenting your project. Let's have Cole go first." Cole silently steps up, presses a button on his sphere, and rolls it down the track, accelerating unusually fast with a great whir. He runs off the ramp and cleanly makes the jump. This was followed by Lila, her project trundling down the track leisurely, and just barely making the jump with one last burst of mediocre speed. The rest of the projects had mostly the same results, with some outstanders. Rekka had made a mini airship, foregoing the track and simply floating over. Briar had made a spider-like robot with a 5-toed grappling system, and Muck had made a comically long rover that simply drove over the gap, leaving Crassus as the last one to present. He confidently steps forward, presenting a monorail design under a set of balancing scales. By this time, the bulk of the class had lost interest, as about an hour had passed, and they assumed Crassus would do fine like always. Crassus places his robot on the track, flips a switch, and steps back as it rolls forward. The brass mechanism rolls down the runway as designed, and starts gaining speed at the ramp. But, just as it was about to fly off the ramp, the momentum stalls out and it loudly tumbles back down. Mean-spirited snickering briefly runs through the crowd, as Crassus looks down at his project with evident shock and embarrassment. "That should have worked. I tested and checked everything twice. Crassus dejectedly picks up his failed project and briskly walks back to the crowd, his head down. While their teacher quickly transitions to the next task, Cole keeps an eye on Crassus from a distance. It seems incredibly out of the ordinary to Cole that Crassus would fail at a project like this, but everyone can get unlucky. Still, Crassus seems so sure that it should have worked.